to welcome everyone and thank you to those of you guys who are watching after the fact. So I'm here with my friend Rachel, and we're going to chat about books in just a minute because I can't wait to hear what she's reading. But first, I just wanted to give a couple of announcements and little updates. The biggest thing, well, first of all, I know this month has been different because we ended up doing the second week, just because my anniversary happened to fall on the first Friday, and then it was 4th of July for those of us in the US, and that was the first Monday. So July got pushed a little bit wonky to the second week. I hope that didn't mess anybody up, but next month we'll be back to normal. And with that, our first Monday of August book club will be August 1st. So that's, I always get a little bit scared when things fall on the first, because if you're like me, I sometimes forget to flip the calendar for a few days. So please just remember that August 1st is actually on Monday, and that will be our first Monday book club. And then August 5th will be the first Friday. So those are our next dates. So I hope you guys can join us. Can't wait to hear what everybody's been reading and all of that. And then the other big thing that I just wanted to let you guys know, just to make sure that it's clear, I've been doing the Eventbrite links in the emails. And so what you'll need to do is actually click on that and RSVP with Eventbrite. And the reason I'm doing that, I know it's an extra click and then it takes you to another, a third party. And I know some people aren't super huge on that, but my goal was to make it easier and smoother for everybody, because they will immediately send you the link. So you'll already have the link, but they'll also send you email reminders, and they'll send them to you in your time zone. So that's why I did that, because honestly, once you get used to Eventbrite, if you've never used it before, it's super simple. But once you get used to clicking it, RSVPing, then it should just make things so much smoother for everybody, I hope and I think. Welcome your feedback. Please, anytime, send me a message. Let me know what's working, what's not. If you're confused, if you've got questions, or whatever the case may be, I'm always here, and I would love to hear. So I just wanted to make sure that I said that to make sure that it's totally clear for everybody how that's working. And then that's all the announcements that I have. And now it's time to chat about books. So, Rachel, I want to know, what are you reading?
Well, I am slowly reading right now. I'm trying to get back into the habit of it after moving across the country. So I'm reading the rest of Then Comes a Drifter by Claire Bonchbach, CM Bonchbach. And I picked up an audiobook of Blackout by Candace Owens to read. So those are the two that I'm kind of going back and forth between. I only get about 10, 20 minutes of reading time during the day, and then that's about it. Yeah. I fall asleep before I get very far when I read at night.
Oh, I feel your pain on that one. Oh, it's like you're reading, and then if you have the book in your hand, it ends up falling in your face. or if you're holding the phone, whatever it is, falls on your face.
Yes. Done that too many times to count. Thankfully, I've not broken my nose.
That's a good thing. Oh my goodness. Well, so I would love to read There Comes a Drifter. Now remind me, is that kind of a standalone, or is that like in a series?
I believe it's going to be a duology. So it's the first of at least 2 books. I don't think it's a trilogy. I'm pretty sure this is another one of her duologies. She has a tendency to just do 2 together, like with her other series. My mind just went totally blank.
Something about brothers. That may not be in the title, but there are brothers in it, right?
Yes, and now I have to go look it up.
Oath of the Outcast, or Oath of Outcast.
Yes, that's it. Yes, you're good.
And then there's another one I don't remember, and I don't know if that's the first or the second.
Oath of the Outcast is first, and then Blood of the Seer is the second book.
Okay.
And she also did that with a young adult series that she wrote. Like her first series is 2 books. It's The Rise of Eredor.
Mm-hmm.
And those ones are fantasy novels, more fantasy than Oath of the Outcast and Then Comes a Drifter, which are probably both you could consider low fantasy.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure about There Comes a Drifter. So that's more like a Western kind of setting, correct?
Yes. Yeah, it is. It's like a dystopian, futuristic Western setting with motorcycles and gnarly gangs and tattoos in different languages and a little bit of magic.
I love it. Those have been on my list, so I've got to get to those.
Yeah, it's definitely good. It's a little bit on the darker side compared to some of her other books, but
Mhm.
she's just like the more she writes, the better she gets. So she's definitely an author worth picking up.
Yeah, for sure. And then so the other book that you said is an audiobook, right?
Yes, I borrowed it from the library. It's called Blackout.
Okay.
It's by Candace Owens, and I just started that one, so I'm not too far into it. I got through the introduction that's written by Larry Elder, and then the first couple chapters. But it so far it's outlined her history and like just to tell people, here's my actual story. Even though you've heard all these things about me, this is what really happened, and this is why I do what I do today. So
Okay.
it's been good.
That's cool. So I actually had a discussion with someone, I think it was yesterday, or maybe it was the day before. We were talking about audiobooks. And I was sharing how I really have tried. I've really tried to give them a fair shake and it just doesn't work for me. So, do you listen to audiobooks often? And what's kind of like do you enjoy it more than say reading from a page, or is it just kind of something that you do out of necessity?
Well, I actually really enjoy audiobooks. I can't just sit and listen to one if I'm not doing something else. So
Mhm.
anything where I'm kind of zoning out or I can zone out, so laundry, dishes, driving, although I'm not zoning out when I'm driving. It's just that it's using a different part of my brain. So much of it is kind of an autopilot sort of thing. So anyway, so those three things for sure. But if you're like a person who loves to knit, sew,
Mhm.
crochet, stuff like that, those are also activities where it uses a different part of your brain to listen to the story and continue doing your project at the same time. So those are the times that I listen to audiobooks, and I like to have that in my background noise instead of necessarily the radio with commercials and stuff. I like music, but I really like to listen to stories, and I like to listen to nonfiction audiobooks as well.
That's cool. That makes sense. I really do wish that it worked for me because I think it would be so nice. But when I, even when I'm doing stuff like dishes or laundry or things like that, I tend to, I don't know, I just can't focus on words being spoken. I don't know why. I wish it worked for me, but it doesn't. And I gave it like the fairest try ever because I listened to War of the Worlds, which fantastic book, keeps you on the edge of your seat, narrated by David Tennant. So if nothing, I mean, like, if he can't convince me to switch over to audiobooks, then it's hopeless.
It's not going to work. I
No.
totally get that. I can't work on anything else that takes too much concentration. Listen to an audiobook or watch a TV show. So I don't know about you, but sometimes you have to do something like I'm maybe editing something or working on a cover design or something like that, and I'll turn on a movie that I've seen 100 times in the background. And so I'll have the TV going in the background with that, and then while I'm working, it's okay if I miss things because I already know the story.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to do that with something that I'd never heard before or seen before.
Yeah, that's true. I I don't think I can really do I think I used to be able to do that. I used to be able to have, like you said, something that I've seen a million times or whatever on in the background. I remember doing that in college. I would even study while I had a movie going, but I can't do it anymore. It's like I just have to be watching. If there's a movie on, I have to watch it. It doesn't matter if I've seen it a million times. It's crazy, my brain. Oh goodness. But
I
I was
think I
gonna
probably have that too.
share what I've been reading. So I read, and I've actually finished this one, but this is The Feather Thief, which is a
I keep
beautiful
seeing that book.
cover.
That's beautiful.
It really is. So I have to admit something. I got this in my library had a book bundle, and so it was like 4 books all together. And I just assumed that they were all novels because the other 3 were novels and I had already read them. And I started reading this book and I am really embarrassed to say that I was definitely past the first chapter. I'm not going to say how far I was. And then I finally realized, oh, this is nonfiction. The whole time I was reading it, I was like, okay, I could see where like people would not like this because it seems a little dry for a novel, but I really enjoy it.
That's so funny. I thought it was a novel too, because I've seen the cover before, but I haven't actually picked up the book and looked at what it's about. That's funny.
Yeah, well, I mean, honestly, the cover though, I would not think, I would definitely think novel anyway. So maybe that's
Yeah.
part of it too. But but it is nonfiction, in case you're wondering, like me. It was fascinating. I found it very fascinating. It delved a lot into um, naturalist history. So Darwin, Wallace. Oh, what was his first name? Andrew? Was it Andrew Wallace? He was another naturalist, kind of like Charles Darwin. Um, they both came to the same conclusions about natural selection at the same time, which was kind of interesting. So the book includes historical details about them and then about these feathers and the fly tires. So people who make flies for people who fly fish for salmon, it's a big deal. Like people are very they consider it artwork that they make these ties. Even though, and like he says in here, you really aren't going to catch anything more with these super fancy flies that are made with these feathers that are from birds that have become extinct because of overhunting and stuff like that. You're not actually going to catch anything more because of them. It's really more of an art form for the people who make these. So it was just fascinating to read about some things that I probably wouldn't have read about. You know, I wouldn't have really picked up a book about people who tie flies because that's not exactly my cup of tea. So it was interesting to learn those things. I will say I felt like the end kind of felt a little flat for me because a lot of how he wrote this book, it's a lot of speculation. And it's a lot of him trying to solve this mystery of, you know, who stole these feathers and how the individual stole them and why he did not serve jail time for it. So there's a lot more speculation than there is like, actually, this is what happened. So for me, the end kind of fell a little flat because of that. But I still think it was a fascinating book. So my 2 cents on it. And then I'm also reading Fantastes, which, do you know if I'm saying this right?
I have no idea. I'm assuming that's how you would say that. That's how I would say it.
Yeah, I
Love
wondered
George
about
MacDonald,
that.
though.
Yes. Yes, this has been so good so far. So this I'm actually doing as part of the Lorehaven Guild. They are doing a monthly book club now, and this
Okay.
is their book for July. So they have it's a Discord group that they kind of talk about different topics from each chapter. And so we're on, I guess, chapters 6 through 10 or 11 for this week. So I need to read some in here tonight to catch up with what we're going to be talking about this week. But so far, it's been delightful. And you can definitely see, I know that C.S. Lewis was hugely influenced by George MacDonald. I believe J.R. Tolkien was as well. And you can definitely see how they were influenced when you read his book and you know their works and how they've written. So that was kind of interesting. But that's pretty much what I'm reading right now. So I guess that's about it. Did you have any questions or any thoughts or any books that you've heard about lately that you think sound really interesting?
I've just kind of been out of the loop on everything lately. I'm not even doing my Goodreads challenge this year, which kind of makes me a little bit sad.
Oh,
So yeah, I've been out of the loop big time. Some that my daughter has enjoyed that are in our Kindle reading are by Ronnie Kendig, her newer series Stone and Willow.
okay.
I think there's another one coming, but I don't think it's going to come until next year. And then I don't know. I love Ronnie Kendig's Brand of Light series, and she's on
Yes.
the third book now. I have that on the shelf over there, ready to be read, but I haven't started it yet. So that's on my
Oh,
list of upcoming books.
yeah. I know that one's on my list too. I cannot wait to read it. I don't have it yet. I keep going back and forth about if I'm gonna like order it now or if I'm gonna wait until I can actually read it.
Right? I'm like, I want it now.
Yeah.
But sometimes if you wait to buy the hardback till the paperback's almost out, then you can get it at a really good price. So
That's true, and that's how I got the first 2 because
yeah,
I
yeah.
came to the series a little bit late, and I was like, "Well, hey, this sounds like something I would like," and I went to check it out, and I saw the price, I was like, "Well, good grief, I can't beat that," so
Right? Don't pass that one up.
yeah,
I think I
exactly.
got one for $6.50 and one for I don't know $11 or something like that when they were basically on clearance, going out of stock.
Yeah,
So it was a good
yeah,
deal. The third one I did buy at full price.
yeah, I think definitely, like, I'm definitely willing to because I know that I love them. She so this series, for those of you guys who haven't heard of it, it's very much like a space opera type. It's got feels of Firefly for anybody who's a Firefly fan, which I am. Happen to really love that series. And it also has like Arthurian vibes to it. So it's like Firefly with a sprinkling of Arthur and medieval times and a lot of intrigue and government conspiracy, like, or government corruption, not just conspiracy, like actual government corruption. Um, so it kind of combines a lot of things that I absolutely love. So if you like those kind of things, you would definitely love this series. So what about Stone and Willow? So I don't know much about those books. Is it a similar kind of book?
No, they're actually contemporary. Cass, what would you call the genre for those books? Stone and Willow. They're yeah, like a romance thriller.
Okay.
So
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, not scary horror thriller, but like action suspense thriller.
Okay.
And Ronnie Kendick writes a lot of other books that I think have like a military bent to them. So she has a lot of experience writing with that.
Yeah, and I've read some of those and they're really good too. She does a good job with like the action, the thriller part of it, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
But Cassie likes both of them a lot. So I have them. They're also in my TBR list. So I have a long list of books to read.
I know, don't we all? It's like if we could just get to I don't know, we just need like a year on an island with just our books.
That's right. Someone else to make dinner and lunch, maybe breakfast
Exactly.
too.
Exactly.
Just put our feet up and read.
Oh man, that would be the dream, right?
Right? It would be.
Oh, goodness. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Rachel.
Oh,
And
thank you.
I'm just going to kind of close out with one little tease thing for you guys just to be thinking about. And if this sounds like something that you're interested in, please let me know. It's something that I've thought about doing for a while, and I don't know if I'm going to do it or not, but really it's going to be based on interest from readers like y'all. So I would love to do a read along with my books, and I'm tentatively thinking about trying to do one with Any Good Thing from September 4th to October 8th. So it's a total of 5 weeks. and you kind of like read a chapter a day, or sometimes you like to read a few chapters here and then go a couple of days and then read a few chapters, whatever. But it would work out to be, if we did it in those 5 weeks, it would work out for a chapter a day. And then we could there are a lot of different ways that we could kind of have some interaction about it. It could be Zoom chats, it could be a Facebook group, Discord group, lots of different ways. So if that sounds interesting, if you are intrigued, drop me a line, let me know if it's something that you're interested in. So with that little tease, I will sign off, and I will hope to see you guys on either August 1st or August 5th. Thanks for joining us.